Guy. There it is. PlayStation has reported $765 million impairment loss due to underperformance by Bungie. Dear fucking God. Like my game devs, lightly seasoned, partially burnt. Whatever's in this sauce. Holy hell. Let's watch this cross video. Because what are we talking about? I guess this is the react part of the stream. YouTube, please. It got worse.
I don't like what he did to Destiny or Bungie, but
I skipped a lot.
Wawa has tacos now?
That's a legit taco. This is perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna be coming back for these.
Y'all did it again.
With Rent the Runway's Limitless Closet, trade date night nerves for total confidence. Own your day. Rent the Runway.
but
2 minutes in already.
my man straight up
Just watch
was a villain. He came in there, he talked the talk, said Bungie had all these incubation projects, and we're cranking on Destiny, we're cranking on Marathon. We got Gummy Bears, we got Destiny Payback. Oh yeah, we are live service gods. Everything we touch turns to gold, and we've got 4 or 5 more live service games. And Sony was like, all right, how much? And Pete was like, I don't know, man. Billions, probably. And unfortunately, that's what Sony paid. Now, yes, there's some accounting benefits right now to the impairment. But regardless, whether you were Microsoft back in the day with Mojang, whether you're Tencent with Riot, when you buy any asset, you want it to have a good return. And I can promise you, that's the alternative that Sony would rather have right now. They would rather have Bungie be exactly what they said they were going to be. You know what I mean? I've yapped long enough. Sony backs Marathon even after $765 million in Bungie impairment losses. So this was from Paul Tassi. This was published just the other day. Paul's been catching a lot of heat online. A lot of people in the Marathon community. Not many of them, you know what I'm saying? But they're pretty vocal. While most of Sony's recent earnings news this week was positive, there was one very glaring red mark.
I want to say, leave it to a community of players from the same dev, right? Or that play games from the same dev. We are ball busting the shit out of everybody, hands down. There is no shot not fired. they're supposed to be us. They're our friends. And we're like, I don't give a goddamn. This is an extraction based environment. And I'm taking all your loot. They opened the floodgates. Now I get to take your goddamn loot. Crazy work. Like how can we be against the same people, like a same group of people that play a game by the same time? I don't understand. Bungie players are fucking. We're all trash.
Mark in the books. That would be Bungie, which Sony revealed another $565 million in impairment losses, joining the $200 million it had announced previously. Despite that, Sony said it is backing Bungie's recent underperforming release, Marathon, and continues to support the studio, but there's a lot to dissect here, so let's go through it. What is now $765 million in impairment losses against Bungie is not something as simple as Bungie games are $765 million in the red. Rather, what impairment losses are doing is acknowledging that Bungie is not as valuable of an asset as Sony thought it was when it bought it for $3.6 billion, so it keeps knocking that number down. Sony, looking ahead to fiscal year 2026, says it believes those impairment losses for Bungie will be absent, or at least way less than the 1 billion yen, 565 million from this year. It remains rather wild that Sony ever thought Bungie was worth 3.6 billion, which is eyebrow raising at the time. And from an outside perspective, it still seems that it's probably worth less than Sony is saying, especially given recent events. I mean, look, we talk a lot of shit about Pete, but if there's one thing that Pete seemed to have done his job well on, it was, getting the biggest price possible for Bungie. I also think this was a knee-jerk reaction at the time because Sony was getting a little scared with what was happening on the X.
I vape, but I don't
Come
like
here, Joe.
the need to vape, I only do it when my friends do it, or on the weekend.
Xbox side, lots of acquisitions. Of course, the thing that was leading up to the big acquisition of Activision, right? It almost reminded me, although this is a much bigger scale, but it reminded me years ago whenever every platform was buying content creators. If y'all remember that, everybody was trying to lock in content creators in exclusive deals, and it really just took Mixer going out for them to finally be like, whoa, this is not sustainable.
What are we doing?
Like this, but on a much bigger
Everybody got hit with what the fuck are we doing? Why are we buying these people? Like, we're wasting money here. We didn't even develop our platform yet. Wow, crazy work.
scale, and obviously, you have tangible products that go alongside it outside of, I guess, influencers. Despite this, Sony has at least publicly backed Bungie's continued work on Marathon, saying players' reception to Marathon is strong, receiving a Metacritic score of 82, and more than 90% of the player reviews on Steam being positive. Engagement metrics such as retention also remain at a high level. Going forward, we aim to improve the performance of the game by working to retain highly engaged core users through the introduction of additional content, further improvements in the gameplay experience, and expansion of the user base. Yeah. I mean, look, I think the main thing is, like, the people that are still playing Marathon, they're playing a lot of it, Personally, I think Destiny is the better investment. And I know Marathon people, you're going to come for my neck right now, but I just think it is. I think it has a more interesting universe. I think that the foundation there is way more solid. I think right now they're seeing some, like, high retention numbers, but that tends to happen. For instance, this is a very small piece of what I can offer here from personal experience, but, like, if I drop a video on my channel, what you normally find is the videos with the least amount of views have the highest retention. If it just seems to work that way, man. It's like people that are actually interested in that particular topic, or in this case, a community is actually engaged with Marathon and its IP, tend to play the fuck out of this. In my case, they'll watch 3-4 times the amount of some of our other pieces. And of course, there's a lot of variables that's involved in that. It's interesting how that goes. It's like the further something keeps refining down, yes, those players will be the ones that play the shit out of your game. That optimism seems
true. He knows best, right? The game's been out for what, 3-4 months now, like, and we're already talking about how shit it is, or like how badly it's doing. Like, this reminds me of a time when games were coming out and people were playing them for the first 12 hours of release, and the games would get called shit, right? Because people would burn through all of the content in the first 24 to 48 hours, and the games were called shit. They had no longevity type stuff, and people were just like, what? Like, that was the suicide. Sorry to say that. That was the killing off of, like, all of the like a whole year's worth of games that were actually really good when you go back and play them. I feel like the same thing's happening right now with Marathon. And I'm not interested in the game at all, but like we're already condemning shit to the grave. And it hasn't even gotten, past 6 months, and it sucks because it comes after the acquisition of, Bungie by Sony, and then this aftermath of all of Destiny 2's bad metrics and Bungie's bad metrics and leading up. Like, I think if they weren't acquired by Sony, the metrics wouldn't even be considered bad. They'd just be, oh, this is their second game. It's doing not as well, but like it's doing mediocre. It's only been 2 months. Crazy, but whatever.
Warn it if you've been tracking the performance of the game, which has continually lost players since launch, with no signs of anything resembling a turnaround, even as moves have been made to appeal to more casual players. On PC, its main platform, it's about to dip below Destiny 2's nightly numbers. It already has. And an 11-year-old game that is in the middle of its longest content drought in its history. Even as Sony is saying this now, there's nothing to guarantee a lack of poor outcomes for Bungie, including layoffs, reduced costs, which in turn would mean less investment in these games, which would likely mean fewer players.
It actually goddamn works. I now have audio for when the ads are about to play in 5.
Viral we've already seen with Destiny. It's very clear that Bungie does not currently have
It's the craziest sound I've got.
The studio now tilting in favor of Marathon in terms of
Holy
side, and that isn't going well either. I think Paul's referring to his insider stating that there's now officially more developers on Marathon than Destiny.
How to find the right car for you. Go to cars.com.
I probably should get YouTube Premium.
Ciao. Find your next
If I get Premium, would the ads stop? Like, we got to sit through 30 minutes of hell. I mean, 30 seconds. I'm sorry.
Destiny 2 simply wasn't mentioned at all, which is disconcerting for what was Bungie's flagship franchise and now a game that has no clear roadmap for the future. Fans are hoping that Destiny 3 may soon be announced, but there are no indications that is going to be the case, and that would likely have to come with a near total shutdown on work on Destiny 2 for years to come. I tell you this, guys, from what I looked at in the earnings call, I'm not hopeful of a sequel for Destiny. Everything that was mentioned in the earnings call, or the lack of Destiny being mentioned, makes me feel like there's just Destiny 3 is probably not getting made. But there is no imminent plug pulling of Marathon, which I've always predicted will get at least.
I'm gonna say this again. We don't need a Destiny 3. Just flat out, period, point blank. Stop it, man. The number's not gonna make a difference. We rebuilding the game from the ground up is not gonna make a difference. The same shit that's gonna happen over and over and over again. Same shit. New coat of paint.
Least a year of content to see if it could find an audience. Nor do I believe Sony is on the verge of closing Bungie itself, even if its value has fallen as an asset. After all, it's asset that Sony is still valuing at billions, mind you. This is not Concord, the Sony game made by a brand new studio that arrived with 700 concurrent PC players, where both were shuttered. But to say the good news coming out of all this is, well, at least Bungie and Marathon weren't just publicly executed. That's not exactly a great place to be. It's almost entirely bad news, and this idea that Bungie can surely turn Marathon around is not something that reflects the reality on the ground. Not from any data we could see. The studio continues to navigate choppy seas, but Sony is not yet scuttling the ship. First up, you guys have been giving Paul so much heat on his coverage, and it's been coming directly.
Oh, we get slapped back and forth.
As if he's painting an overall negative picture when there's really no other way to see it. I guess retention is good for the people that are playing Marathon. That's cool, but no one's fucking playing it. If I pull a look, I hate to be this guy. I'm about to be this fucking guy. Let me pull this shit up. Here we are. Marathon. It's Sunday. It's Mother's Day. Marathon players, maybe they just really love their moms. Completely fine. I understand. 9,974 players. Destiny 2 is currently beating that. And we don't have shit in Destiny right now. You know that? Not shit. Nothing has happened in Destiny. Like nothing. Now you could say, well, maybe Destiny 2 players just don't like their mothers. There. Knock it off with the Marathon hates. Believe me, brother, I'm not hating Marathon. The fault really lies with Bungie on this. Okay. However, imagine this. Imagine there they stand. Destiny and Marathon. And I have to choose which one to let go. You know what I mean? Imagine the Titanic going down and there's only one life raft available and only Destiny 2 could get.
You already know what I'm gonna pick. One life raft. Titanic's going down. I gotta wait till the DLC drops.
Get on, or Marathon could get on. Even in its shittiest state.
Can't guarantee it. Can't guarantee it. Gotta wait till the DLC drops. All right. Everybody on Twitch, y'all about to get hit with something heavy. So enjoy those ads.
Its lowest low. I would get Destiny 2 off that ship well before Marathon. Matter of fact, I would strap Marathon down with cinder blocks. Put them all the way in the bottom of the ship and make eye contact with them all the way down. Look, we're gonna have this dance. We're gonna do it. We're gonna watch and see how it goes. I already told you guys that I had a feeling Bungie was about to ice, or Sony was about to ice Destiny's IP. That doesn't mean they're killing it. That just means for the foreseeable future, gonna have minimum investment. Marathon, they are going to try to pull a Forsaken. They are going to try to pull a Taken King. And you know what? I'll be around. I will be around and we'll see. We'll see. But here's what I truly believe. I don't believe Marathon will be able to turn things back around. That's not to take away from the guys at Bungie working on Marathon who are probably putting their heart and souls into it. I just personally don't think Marathon is going to be able to turn it around. Not to the degree that Sony wants or that Bungie needs. I'll put it to you like this. Do you think Marathon right now has an all-time peak of 88,337 players? My ass, man. I mean, I was in copium land leading up to the launch of Marathon. And I was like, it won't break below 100,000 players. Brother, it didn't even go over that. It didn't even touch it.
You see what I mean by the dooming, the condemning of something new? Crazy work, man. And only in Bungie games. Only in Bungie games. Why? Because they gave up Halo. Somewhere in the back ridges of the minds of the players, you abandoned us. Therefore, fuck all. We don't know how to deal with it. We just everywhere. But crazy that it didn't even go over that cap. That's wild. Still a new game. It could always have a comeback like PUBG. I don't fucking know.
But no. For real. Do you think that it's going to go over 88,337 players in Season 2 or Season 3? Or if they did like a big one-year launch, do you think it will go over that number? Only going free to play? I have said it for a while now that Bungie should really consider not going completely free to play, just adding.
What's for dinner? This.
Commercials.
Avoid
Always.
the trombonist. With
Adding one map and making it a free-to-play map. You know, it can literally be sponsor kits. People can jump in there, mess around, and you might get some conversions. Will there be cheaters? Of course. But you might get some conversions. And if anything, you can pad the stats a little bit. But even then, guys, I don't know, boys. I would be very, very surprised.
Is it so hard for companies to follow the blueprint that's already out there for other companies? And dare I say it, when we make these games, and I'm gonna sound like a true dumbass right here, probably. Is it really that hard to follow the blueprint? And I guess I'm overthinking and overlooking the part of why don't companies consider just mimicking what another company has already made decent off rip, right? Like, you know what the people want up front. During the development process and phases and everything leading up to launch, those things should be, and I like, it sucks that I'm saying it should be promised, because you don't ever want to make promises that you can't keep, right? But every game that releases and doesn't hold to a certain candle, like, it's shit like this. You released an extraction shooter alongside many other extraction shooters that have been out for multiple years now. Content, no content. You decided to do the same exact thing that they did off rip. Like, you got a leg up in the game. They came out first. That might sound wrong, but no. If you come out later, you have a leg up in the game. The blueprint was already there. Everything was laid out in front of you. Just take the plate.
Price. I'd be very surprised if he gets over that number. I just feel like so many people have already made up their mind about Marathon. You know what I'm saying? And sure, the people that are playing Marathon, you know, they're enjoying it. Glad they are, you know? It's tough, man. It's tough. Marathon community, I give you guys shit. But I definitely enjoyed my time playing Marathon. To me, it's a seasonal game. And so I'll jump back in, you know, probably when a new season launches. If there's something big coming each launch. If it's just like, hey, get ready to do all your faction quests all over again and re-earn all the same shit again. You know what I'm coming from? Which very likely that is the case. Then my time playing each season is going to be probably much less. With that being said, though, I think Destiny is the better game. I think it's the stronger IP. I think it's the sexier game. I think that it's just better on every level. I think it looks better, it feels better, it shoots better, it plays better. It's just better. It's fucking so much better. I can't express just how much better Destiny is. In every Destiny 1 is better, okay? Destiny 1 fucking kills Marathon. Look, Marathon is a fun time. I have a good time playing Marathon, but there's no world in which I would choose Marathon over Destiny, okay? If I could do it, I would execute Marathon for Bungie. All right. If this is a tough decision for them, dude, not even 2 minutes in a pillow. I fucking got this shit. And then we can get back to making more Destiny. I'm gonna be honest. If they dropped the Destiny Classic right now, it would beat the shit out of Destiny 2 and Marathon combined. Look. You don't want this fight, Marathon community. Destiny 2 community, y'all don't want this fight either. If a Destiny Classic dropped on PC right now, it would beat the piss out of.
Why is there a divide?
Both these games. No, I don't think Marathon is the worst game at all. There's so many things that went wrong, man. So many things. Dude, I'm going to be telling my grandkids about this if they're even going to care. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, Grandpa, tell us a story. And I'm going to be like, the story can go many ways. It could be like, I'm going to tell you a story about a studio that made an epic
God.
by becoming completely community driven. And I'm going to show you where it fell and where they picked it back up. Or I'm going to be like, I'm going to tell you a story of a studio that chopped their own dick off and chopped the testicles off and shit on everything. They just shit on everything. And they're going to be like, Grandpa, tell us that story. How did this company chop their own balls and dick off? Well, there was a guy named Pete. Pete said, I got a lot of shit. Turns out, Pete didn't have nothing except cars. And that's how the story goes. It's unfortunate, man. Marathon was supposed to come out at least a year ago. It's just bad, dude. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. All right, can you imagine working on Marathon? Can you imagine just being like a developer for just Marathon? You don't work on Destiny. You never worked at Bungie. You finally get hired on a Marathon. You show up and you're like, yeah, leadership seems cool as shit. Then a week goes by. Leadership fucking gone. Christopher Barrett laid off. Why? Truth or dare? Truth or dare? Too much. Shouldn't do it at all. Shit happened. Leadership changes. All right. Oh, simultaneously, tons of other layoffs happening in the studio. All those people you met that work on Destiny, they're all fucking getting laid off or leaving. And so you're like, damn, dude, this is really scary. I just showed up here. I just started working last week and so many things happening.
People are getting fired.
New leadership comes in. That being
Just got here.
Comes in. He's like, listen, I'm from Valorant, and the way Marathon looks like right now looks like shit. We're gonna change everything. And look, nothing against Ziegler. I think Ziegler's got a great mind, but it takes time. Then Ziegler's like, all right, let's fucking we're gonna do this.
Say it again, Cross. It takes time.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. And then the time keeps extending. Okay, keeps extending. And then when they feel like they're like, all right, we're almost there. We're almost to the promised land. They launched the alpha. Now, alpha wasn't received that well. Because the alpha looked like shit. Let's just be clear. It looked like shit. Wasn't received well. But the thing that really hurt them the most is that inside the alpha was a bunch of in-game assets with decals of another artist, an independent artist. Brother. Thus, the art scandal formed. It sucks, man. It sucks. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I've said it still. It's kind of amazing that Marathon even made it. Like, it's really amazing Marathon made it out the door. So if you work that hard just to get Marathon out the door, of course Bungie and Sony are going to commit resources to it. And they're going to play this dance for probably a year. The question is at this point, and this is the point that hurts the most, is one, is there going to be layoffs following this impairment news? Two, where are the layoffs going to hit? Are they going to hit more on the Destiny side? Are they going to hit more on the Marathon side? And let me just say, man, I don't think either side can really lose many people at this point. You know what I mean? And those are the people that are, I mean, they're the ones that are going to be living through this. I think my biggest issue with everything that has happened over really since Bungie's been acquired by Sony, there was a large amount of funds set aside to retaining talent. And my question is,
What talent?
what the happened at that? If that was set aside to retain talent, then why didn't we retain talent? Why didn't we find a way to keep Chris Proctor? Why didn't we keep Joe? Why didn't we keep Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith? Why didn't we keep Michael Salvatore? Sure, some of you are going to say, but they left on their own accord. Obviously, people got paid. There are people that definitely got paid. But in terms of
But he's saying, why did, like, acquire talent, keep talent, acquire talent, keep talent.
your top talent, your narrative team from Final Shape, what happened to retaining those people? I'm just saying, guys, I would not be surprised if Destiny goes into maintenance mode.
I really do hate these fucking commercials.
Yeah, no, I think he's about to go into the whole maintenance thing.
After
Like, he's right. They could have been, yo, listen, how much will it take to keep you? We need that whole squad back. But man, if they go, this is hilarious. Destiny goes down. We don't need a 3. We don't need a classic. Just rebuild everything. Like just build it to be migrated to a new engine and built upon. That's it. Like maybe while doing that, implement all the things that you always promise or want to move up forward, stuff like that, or leave it behind. Whatever the case may be, just work. Just give us something. No, let me not say just give us something. That sounds like I'm just tired. Just give me something. Nah. Stop being lazy. Stop being fucking lazy.
this next expansion, I wouldn't be surprised if, at best, we get a Renegade style expansion per year with your normal cadence of other things like Guardian games, holiday events. You see where I'm coming from? Crossless killing Destiny.
That's the bare minimum. Not even the bare minimum. That's not even the minimum. That's a part that's natural. Reach the holiday shit is always natural. Let that roll. Don't worry about none of them shits. Don't care about none of that. Granted, that's the entry point for a lot of new players to a degree. Fuck those events. Fuck every one of our events in the game that are annual events. And I say that because I like a lot of those events. But right now, please let them go and work on the shit that needs to be worked on. Work on the game itself. Work on the quality of life across the board. No more new shit. No more. Just quality of life. All right? No more new shit. Please.
Fans right now.
A waste of time.
Trying to hurt your feelings. I want us to be prepared for this. Okay? I think it's kind of likely. Okay? Just based off of everything we've seen. And I think that, unfortunately, I think there's going to be another wave of layoffs. It may not happen until later in the summer, but I do think that there's going to be another wave of layoffs. I hate that, but I just think that's probably going to end up happening. And I'm not hopeful that a Destiny 3 is being made right now, which blows my mind because it seems stupid as to not make a Destiny 3. That would obviously print. It's not until Marathon is stable. Right. I don't know if Marathon is ever going to reach that point. Based on what their history is, I would say Bungie feels confident since their success with the Taken King, their success with Forsaken. These are the annual expansions that follow the release of Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. They feel very confident that their year 2 turnaround can change the course of the game. However, that's Destiny. And I say this with love, Marathon community. Marathon ain't Destiny, all right? There are people that like your game. I like it too sometimes, but it's not Destiny. In regards to gummy bears and Team LFG, nothing was said about them. Probably not going to hear anything about them until whatever it is that they're working on is coming out, probably. And keep in mind, what Team LFG really showcased is that Sony is completely willing to take individual games within Bungie and siphon them off and put them under PlayStation Studios. That's really what that shows. The question is, are they going to do something similar with Marathon?
That would happen with any studio, though.
Maybe. I don't know. Whatever the case, obviously it showed some levels of promise because then they pulled it out from underneath Bungie and established Team LFG.
Yeah, that would happen with any studio. That like, if you've got a lot of incubation projects, they're gonna, and they buy you out. This is why it was bad for them to get bought out. Like, they're going to siphon through all your shit. Like, you own nothing.
Sure, it's not just a skill issue. Well, it could be a skill issue. It could be the fact that some of your greatest talent that worked at Bungie left, and therefore quality of content has gone down. You know what I'm saying? It's like those two go hand in hand. Look, I don't agree with everything Luke Smith did.
The crazy part for me is this: a lot of talent is left. Never, like, most of it never comes back or gets the chance. I'm gonna first say it seems like they don't get the chance to come back, but no, they don't ever come back because projects, you know, layoffs happen. They're bad. They suck. I get it, but there's always a turnaround cycle to come back, right? What's the holdout time? Right? Okay, we laid you off. There's a 3-month period, 4-month period, something like that. Like you gotta wait till Q4, something like that. Come back in, or to be eligible to come back in. Hell, you might be able to come back in another couple weeks, type stuff. But something else goes on behind the scenes enough to where people don't want to come back. That's telling in itself too. Like, people talk about the nostalgia, the love, the feeling that they got when they were there at a time, and then it passed and they got the rug cut from under them. And they never go back.
Said, you know where I'm coming from? But tell me you didn't get a little excited every time you saw Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy.
I got excited every fucking time.
Tell me, because what did
every
they
time
represent? What did those two guys
because
represent?
they delivered.
It might be a bad or might be a good. You don't know. Don't really know. But it's
got excited every time because they delivered.
You know what I'm saying?
Never felt like was
lie,
being
going
betrayed.
into final shape, when Luke Smith came on and he was like, "This is definitely not it."
Blink and get more with new 2K Plus Smart Security. With Blink 2K Plus,
Destiny. And after the final shape is launched, we'll be back to talk more about that. God, dog it! I was so hopeful, man. I was like, oh shit, they're doing it, boys. They're doing it. They're gonna make it. They're gonna make a D3. It's all coming together. And somehow those guys essentially got let go. I know they left. But you know where I'm coming from. What would I do to save Destiny? Can I just say Destiny is so just intertwined with the corporate world that I don't know how to navigate this. You know where I'm coming from?
They left. And he's right. They are intertwined in the corporate world now. They left. All right. They left. I think even when that video was recorded, there was not the promise of making another Destiny. I think that's just the hope. Again, for some reason, people think a number makes a difference, right? What they delivered after that was, we're going to continue the universe and keep expanding on it. It's how they speaking it, and then the delivery and product that you gave out, not it. The way they talked about it, it's how all of us kind of talk about it if we come up with our own ideas and stuff like that for the universe, right? Some of us still talk about some of the older stuff that, you know, hey, bring this back and do this and do that. Like, but at the end of the day, when you think about the ever expanding universe and things that we can go out and battle and all the lore and the story and everything and the in-depth stuff about the universe of Destiny, why not just make it Destiny? Why do we have to have a number to it? I can tell you this for a fact. Destiny 3 comes out, something goes wrong. We need a Destiny 4. Like, that's going to be the big piece to it. So, F that noise. That's why I constantly say we don't need a D3. We just need them to build upon that universe. Just build upon it with some care, man.
This isn't just like, hey, here's a single studio who owns an IP, who has creative freedom and direction here to try some things and mix things up. This isn't like we can go in there and make a few sandbox tweaks and changes here or throw in Pantheon 2.0. There's just so much intertwined in this that, yes, I could sit here and say we can follow the same roadmap that RuneScape followed with essentially old school RuneScape launching. You could do a classic launch. You can roll out that content over a year time frame instead of stretching out, of course, over 3 years. So that just wouldn't make sense. You could start with the OG sandbox. You can create goodwill by allowing Red War campaign and Forsaken to be in a playable state in some way. I don't know how you figure out that way, whether that be in a D2 or even maybe even a standalone download, but I don't know. I don't know. But that would establish some level of goodwill. The community would see that and go, all right, well, we don't forgive you, but we appreciate this. You know what I mean? We appreciate you at least trying. We still fucking remember. We don't forgive you, but we appreciate it. All of this is to tee up the future, which would be a D3. Here's the problem with everything that I just said right now. Sony has to okay it. They have to say, all right, sure. And right now,
They're not gonna
trust
say
between
yes
them and
to
Bungie, I
shit.
think, has really fallen. I don't think they have faith in Bungie, what Bungie wants to do, if Bungie even wants to do that. You see what I mean? Anyways, that's that, guys. That's that. It's not good news. There's nothing good about this. There really is nothing good about this. I think like some people are like, but the retention in Marathon. All right, it's not good. You effectively have 2 games now, both competing for shit place, and that's not good. That's where Destiny 2 and
High
Marathon is
key
going.
garbage.
Slap that like button like your mama told you.
Thank you, Cross. Y'all know who he is. Go follow him, do all this stuff, watch his videos, yada, 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 yada. I'm right there with him. Like, this shit is this shit ain't gonna get no better no time soon until they can get themselves away from Sony. And that ain't gonna be for a long, long, long time. Ride the wave until they're done, or ride the wave until Sony decides to dissolve the group known as Bungie. Team known as Bungie. 'Cause right now they're gonna siphon everything off that they possibly can. If they got anything else in the back closet there, they're gonna let's take that. It looks good. Let's take that. You know, if they can't right their wrongs with their main projects. So yeah, that's it.